Vitaly Zadorevetsky was arrested on April 2, 2025, by Philippine authorities after live streaming on a series of incidents in which he harassed people in public at Bonifacio Global City, Taguig, a business district in Metro Manila. During his live streams, he was seen stealing a patrol motorcycle from a security guard, repeatedly taking a security guard's cap, stealing an electric fan from a restaurant and bringing it into a hotel, threatening to rob a woman in public. He also recorded himself jumping onto the roof of a moving jeepney and driving a tricycle recklessly in Manila, as well as trespassing into a McDonald's kitchen and stealing from it. He was accused of making derogatory comments and gestures towards a surfing instructor in Boracay and encouraging viewers to review bomb their local business. Labeled by the Bureau of Immigration as an undesirable alien and by the Department of Interior and local government as a flight risk, his deportation proceedings are on hold as he is currently detained at the Bureau of Immigration Bikutan Detention Center in Camp Bagong Diwa, Taguig, pending several cases filed against him under Filipino law. This is the description given to him on his Wikipedia page. Vitaly Zadorevetsky is in actual trouble. As for everyone else who was involved in his activities here in the Philippines, I'm going to give you a heads up that his videographer, Christopher Sly Kane may actually have been targeted by the angry mob in a rushed and harshly way, because as much of a douche as he is for not taking accountability, his privacy was breached because the National Bureau of Investigation had actually been involved in the information gathering around the incident at BGC. This is what set off a number of events that forced Sly Kane to purge his social media. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a banger, so make sure to keep your ears open and your eyes peeled. So here's the long-awaited update after 2 months. 2 months after the incident. Listen carefully and leave a comment down below.
I do want to make absolutely sure that this does come out as, well, genuine, because I'm not playing any background music right now. And at the same time, I'm really just putting my serious aura around here. Now, on the video that this is going to be concerning on, let me just make it absolutely clear that there is an unlisted video that will be attached to this main video. The unlisted video will have the outdated claims of where I think the social media purge, the inspiration of the social media purge is, but that's not the entire reason as to why Christopher Sly Kane Dantes has a social media purge. No, that's not where it absolutely starts. No, where it starts is definitely after the Vitaly Zadorevetsky incident, when they had him arrested and one of the Philippine agencies started to gather photos and videos without consent. Basically, this had to put the Dantes camp in a decision, not be in public scrutiny for long. They had to really make a critical decision that would lessen or stall public opinion when it comes to Christopher Dantes. Okay, basically because he was involved because Vitaly Zadorevetsky assigned him to be a videographer. I will be linking the claim about the incident that Sly Kane had experienced in 2016. Some part of his personality as to why he left the rap and hip hop industry is actually there. You guys can actually check the video for yourselves. It will be accessible via that link to that unlisted video on YouTube. It will still be available for everyone to see. Okay, but basically the real reason that Sly Kane had actually privated his Instagram, his TikTok, and removed anything from his Stilo Local and Blaze and Kane pages, Facebook pages, and entirely deleted his Twitter. The reason he did those things is to make sure that basically he doesn't like the angry mob looking into everything that is related to him. Because there is that chance that he would be ganged up on, that threats would be sent to him. Basically, this is already the world of 2025. You can erase profiles, you can erase any biographies of you. You can do all of that to make absolutely sure that no single person would be able to track you down and give very spread out falsified statements that are not even true about you. Because let me just be clear, there are unverified claims about Christopher Sly Kane Dantes that are not even true, but are willing. But for some people, they are willing to actually spread them out there just because all of the social media was still exposed. So there are two reasons. There are two possible reasons as to how Sly Kane and Christopher and Anne, basically there are two possible reasons as to how Christopher and Anne made a decision about this. First, that incident in 2016, it's in the unlisted video. You don't need you definitely can take a look at it on the down at the link in the description. You can do that yourself. Okay. Basically, from that incident, the actual guy who did it had his social media open for the past 6 years. He made new pages. He made sure he did not delete them. And then he was mocked. He was being sent threats. Basically, he was being made a meme. Okay, for the past 6 years, he was being made a meme because of what he did, because of his stupidity. Basically, it probably a hidden habit he has. Basically, it made Christopher's blood boil when he did it. He thought that he could trust this guy. Okay, so that incident occurred, and the suspect actually kept his social media up. He had haters ever since it happened. 6 years had passed, and then 2022, he got acquitted of all the cases that Sly Kane had pushed. At first, after the 2022 acquittal of the guy who actually offended Sly Kane with the said act, okay, I thought that Sly Kane would clear up all his social media after that guy had actually been cleared of all charges that way, because there's not even sufficient evidence. Okay, I thought that Sly Kane would remove all mention of himself after that. Here's the thing: he didn't. He kept his socials alive. Possibly the Steve Locada thing has been removed, but I don't think the Blazing Kane name was removed then. Okay, basically his identity on the online space is safe. That's at least what I can definitely tell from his stancing, from how he's taking the messaging and everything about his involvement, about the Vitaly incident. But it isn't until when Vitaly was arrested. Vitaly Zdorovetsky had been causing anxiety, had been disrupting operations, had been making attempted theft cases because he thinks he could, because of his previous goodwill that he's done to different Filipinos in other parts of the world, in other parts of the nation. He think he could actually do that. Well, he's already seen what Filipinos are capable of when it comes to tolerance. And my God, he does not kid. My God, we do not kid around when it comes to this. We have a tolerance when it comes to people who are breaking laws, and when it comes to testing the limits. Please do not test our limits. We are literal in how we actually deal with lawbreakers. Okay, the Philippines is literal when it comes to dealing with lawbreakers. So that's how I feel. That's how it is. And when Vitali got arrested, he got arrested at sometime early April 5, April 6. Yeah, April 5. Yes. Vitaly Zodorovetsky was arrested April 5. He was about to go somewhere, leaving his hotel. Then the CIDG took him into custody, right? Basically the Dantes camp had heard of this, and the viewers normally of Christopher Sly Kane Dantes had been alarmed. So basically, they were keeping all eyes on Vitali and everything related to movements against them. Here's the thing: some of them were worried that they would actually be going against Christopher Sly Kane Dantes, because Christopher was contracted to help Vitali on the Russian streams, right? So basically, only contracted as a cameraman. But basically, after that stream, Sly Kane's contract has already been completed. He had already been given the mattresses, right? He had already been given the mattresses that time. So his obligation was already complete. That time, so they already left the BGC by those days. Okay. But basically, Vitaly did more. Unfortunately, he did fucking more, bro. So yeah, not a good way to actually make yourself to make yourself an impression, Vitaly. Really, not a good impression of making yourself doing shit by yourself, and then I really hate it that this is how it worked. That this is how Vitaly worked. He didn't care about privacies. He didn't care about. I'm just saying, rule of law. It doesn't matter to him. He gets arrested. He thinks that this is just a game to him, and he thought it was a game to him until the end. So he thought that nothing would happen to him. That's where it happened. So a day or a few days after that, Christopher Dantes and Anne Dantes eventually found out that the National Bureau of Investigation was doing inquiries and posting videos and photos of them in regards to those inquiries to the public. And when the Dantes camp heard of this, they were raging. They didn't like that their photos and videos were being posted without their consent. They could have done something about that. There could have been something done about public inquiry, but for some reason, NBI is trying to fast track the information gathering. And so what happened next is okay, there's one outcome, but two possibilities of why the social media purge was done. Either the newly hired lawyer first made that decision of recommending that the social medias of Sly Kane be purged. That means you've already heard it: removal of TikTok, removal of Facebook pages, and the Instagram and TikTok accounts to be made private. Basically, that's how it is right now. The Instagram and TikTok accounts were privated. The rest of it were purged. Basically, he was already mostly protected, unless his video sharing platforms like YouTube and like YouTube paint pictures of his life, which it doesn't. Okay, his kick stream in his kick platform also remained. Basically, his activities remain anonymous. His activities remain, well, whatever he allows for activities to be actually seen by the public, he only allows through those platforms. Okay, Kick and YouTube actually survive it. So basically, the Dantes camp starting April 6th, only starting April 6th, did they actually hire a lawyer to make sure that the lawyer handles defending the camp from any type of prosecution in regards to the Vitaly incident and Sly Kane's involvement in the incident with Vitaly, basically. It's just that is the solid theory that actually is much closer to reality, because there is no possible way that Christopher Sly Kane Dantes, after all this time, would only be protected by cops and by government agencies. No. From the time that the NBI started snooping around and gathering information about Christopher Sly Kane Dantes, the legal representation was already there, because they knew that the angry mob, the court of public opinion, would actually test them too, because it is so big. What happened to Vitaly Zdorvetsky was at that point the peak of interest for Filipinos, because at the atmosphere of the Philippines, two things have been evident. First, election season, because they were going to elect nominees and all nominees to the positions. Okay, basically all tensions are around political tensions due to biases, those things. Okay, basically the tensions were running high that time. Second is Filipinos absolutely know of problem streamers, nuisance streamers who are evident around Southeast Asia. Okay. They absolutely know of Ice Poseidon. They also know of Sam Pepper. They also know of Johnny Somali. Those figures in particular. And then there are also some others who are making themselves known in South Korea at that time. Yes, those ones too. Basically, we are aware. We are tracking nuisance streamers who are making themselves known and making themselves menaces in society in South Korea. We're not blind to how nuisance streamers are operating, and it's foolish for others to believe that we are that we are blind to it. No, why? I mean, even the proof of it is President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. himself. He acknowledged these types of activities that are happening around the Philippines and our neighbors. Okay, so basically, he does not want to take that bullshit either. So yeah, that was why it happened. Well, that was why Vitaly's arrest generated so much rage against and that is why Christopher and Ann Dantes did what they had to protect their reputation, but also to cover their asses. Here's the thing: by doing this thing and letting the lawyer secretly handle things behind the scenes and letting only the Kick and YouTube platform survive, the lawyer is able to defend them from public prosecution. Basically, to let the legal representation actually handle it. So this is not about Sly Kane escaping the Philippines. No, this is not Sly Kane going to somewhere while he's actually globetrotting and escaping authorities. No, he already has legal representation from the beginning. I'm going to be very much telling you, he already has legal representation right from the beginning. That's why there is no public statement made in regards to him. That is why nothing so far is said about his stance. Well, he is told by Anne at some cases, say no comment. That is that is also legal advice. While you have a case against you, you're not allowed to say anything. You're not allowed to say anything if there is evidence that might incriminate you. The lawyer would always tell you to say no comment. That's how it is on the initial months. That will always be how it is on the initial months of the cases you have, to not further incriminate you. Basically, all you're just doing is all the activities that you're showing while you're streaming is not offensive. It is generally not offensive. Probably they came to that decision. Probably the Dantes camp and council came to that decision to actually only purge social media, because even if he has streaming platforms, none of his streaming platforms are considered generally offensive. So the only thing that people would be looking into would be his social media, not his streams. Basically, they would not be interested in his streams because they think that his streams would go nowhere. That's where they're wrong. And unfortunately, for my own brethren, I was right. They ignored his activities while he's streaming. Basically, some of them may even believe some of the articles, of false articles about him being arrested already. For Pete's sake, they got to have a better mind when it comes to Filipinos. Got to have a better mind. I have to have a better mind. Unfortunately, I didn't know much until I checked around, and of course, that's when I found out. Yeah, they all got it. They already got legal representation, but that's also going to help Sly Kane dodge accountability. That's what I don't like. Him dodging accountability when it actually matters. When it actually matters. Okay. Even if he has only been skirting when it comes to being involved around Vitaly, even if he has nothing to do with the actual crime, he still enabled the guy to do those things. And for him to not even address it directly, even against his lawyer's advice, let me just tell you, he is dodging accountability all the same. And whether this legal statement actually does come up, and there is already a decision when it comes to his cases, the only thing that is expected of him is to actually come out clean. Okay, whether this legal statement comes out or not because he gets arrested, the only thing he should do is at least come clean. That's the only thing he should do to make sure that his name is clean in the court of public opinion. For Pete's sake, the court of public opinion has a mixed bag. Okay, is a mixed bag in itself. All right, we like to judge, yes, but we also like to see the clarity. We're not all savages. For Pete's sake, for some of you who are thinking the Filipinos are savages, please go somewhere else, touch grass. We don't just judge. We don't just see things as it is. We also look for clarity. We're not the type to pass down judgment immediately when the situation suits it. No. But some of us just likes to do things blindly and then just charge right in without any protections for themselves. It's just bad. So yeah, Filipinos are true enough, are definitely real enough to find what's real and what's not. So yeah. So yeah, that's where we are. There was already legal representation from the beginning from Sly Kane, and that we haven't heard a single legal statement from him or from his lawyer at all in regards to his involvement. And that the only way we would only know for certain is that there would be an update at his remaining platforms, which I am sure he would not be addressing unless his lawyer allows him to. Because if we are also going to be fooled enough for the next couple of months, and that we hear nothing from him, we would still be going after him. So when it comes to my content creation and for content farming for his ass, this is my stance when it comes to Christopher Sly Kane Dantes. You may have legal representation, Christopher, but I will still not let go of things, and I will still keep finding the truth. If you are acquitted by prosecution, only then will you be hearing some sort of apology or some sort of reflection from me about what I think you went through. But until then, until there is resolution that favors you, I will not be favoring whatever you do. You will be observed, you will be tracked, and you will be reminded to try and come out clean. The only thing that we're looking for you is at least accountability. That's the only thing that we're looking for you. And if you can't hold yourself accountable, just like every other good-willed person and person with faith, you're no better than any nuisance streamer. You are no better than any other nuisance streamer out there. If you fail to hold yourself accountable at the end of your involvement in the case, at the end of the case that is being prosecuted against you, you're no better than any nuisance streamer if you don't hold yourself accountable. I'm only going to say that once and once only. Because even if you have legal representation and we are willing to wait, you don't have a right to sneak away from this just like that. Clarity and resolution must be seen from your parts, Sly Kane, and hopefully you see better sense out of all of this.